So it's TracyVA. I'm back again with another episode of a relevant podcast. We're back again. I think it's episode 9, okay? Right now it is 6:39 p.m. It is Tuesday and I just came back from being out. I went to the mall. I went to go to get some Harold's chicken cuz I was craving some chicken. And now I'm here with you guys. I had me a little margarita. They have these like happy hour margaritas and it had me lit, but now I'm like back to normal, so I'm able to do this podcast. But so we're back again, and a lot has been going on. I haven't really been doing full, you know, podcast episodes in like a couple days, but I want to go ahead and film the episode for this week because there is so much that's going on. I mean, besides everything that's going on right now, if you guys can see my last clip, go check it out. I reported that Lotto is pregnant. And yeah, congratulations to Lotto. Now, the crazy part is, I know a lot of people aren't happy for Lotto for some other strange reason. You know, a lot of people are saying that she's a fraud because um, she's a fraud because you guys know how she's always talking about like her body count and big mama no kids, and she always kind of flexes that what's the word, um like kind of like secrecy to to herself, like to her body. And I do think, you know, women should be very careful with their bodies, but she kind of, that's just kind of like one of her like things. Like she likes to, you know, sometimes people like to brag about their cars, sometimes people brag about how many dudes they get. Lotta likes to brag how she's barely touched. um you know, so that's what it is. So a lot of people are calling her a fraud because she is pregnant with 21 Savage, and you know they're kind of just going in on her because she's not married, and we don't even know if she's married. And also, there's this rumor that 21 Savage is married. I don't think 21 Savage is um married. I don't think he's married. I don't think he would be doing all this if he was married. Like, and also, I don't really understand why people are going so hard on Lotto because her and 21 Savage, they've been together for some years now, and my guess is maybe about 8 years, and that's a very long time. I mean, you know, congratulations to Lotto. You know, yeah, it's just the only thing I care about is does she have like a good support system, and that is it. But all that other stuff, ain't no reason to be going in on the girl. Um, okay. That is so loud. See if there's a way I could turn it down. Um, so yeah, that's that. But anyways, like I said, there's a lot that's going on. Whew, it's crazy.
Bruh.
There's a lot that's going on right now. Talking about like in hip hop, in media, and in the world. You guys know I'm also big on spirituality, and I don't think anything is happening, you know, coincidentally. Like how things are coming like back and forth, back and forth. The craziest story, besides all the news I have lined up, ICE at TSA, working TSA at the airports. Now that is insane because that's the conclusion you come to when these TSA workers are not getting paid for whatever reason. Why are they not getting paid? Let's look it up. I'm not getting. Oh, because of a partial government shutdown. Now, what the hell is a partial government shutdown? You either active or you not. But like I said, there's a whole lot of weird things going on in this world. I can't even tell you what the hell is going on. But yes, so they Trump had this idea that okay, well these TSA workers aren't getting paid. They can't afford to come to work. A lot of them are quitting their jobs. So let's just go ahead and get ICE. Now, what's the math behind that? I really couldn't tell you. Um, but once that news came out, I was like, oh wow, we are doomed. And literally an hour after the news came out that that ICE was on foot at these airports because they're showing videos and pictures. There's a woman that's already getting strangled on the floor, a Latina woman already getting strangled on the floor by ICE. And the news just came out. But besides that, what's also going viral within the ICE agents at these airports is people are reposting the black ICE workers. And now there's this debate going on should black people work for companies like ICE, the police, and all these things. And I do have this, I have this grace and I do have this understanding because, people want opportunity, they want to go get that paper, they want to go get that money. But personally, for me, I would never work for something where I have to support something that doesn't support my people. Like, I've always had this thought behind the military, and I understand, the military is a lot of, especially like black homes, they're key to success and they're key to wealth because, we were left with not really much choices. Um, but I really never understood it why like black people go into the military and like fight for a country, and I feel like this country don't even really fight for us. That's just a whole nother topic, but I can see people's frustration with black people working at with ICE. I'm frustrated as well, but I also do understand that these people need to have jobs and they need to get money, and that's the way they found how to do it. That's just what it is. Some people could do things and not feel bad for it. And then you got people like me that's like, no, I respect myself and I respect my people way too much to um for a dollar. So that's just the way the world is. That's just how it is. That's just how America's set up. But if you guys follow me on social media, y'all know I'm over here like, okay, so what we gonna do about this? With all these issues and all these problems, what are we gonna do about it? I'm somebody that's like, I don't like to just sit and complain. Like, what we gotta do? Start a petition. We gotta go on strike. What we gotta do? But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I'm about to get into these topics. Um, what are your guys' thoughts on the climate of America today? And also, do you think that is there anything we could do about this? And if so, what do you think we could do? But I think, of course, the best start is to be truthful and be honest when it comes to the issues of America today. The government and broken homes and all these things that people are talking about these days. Like, okay, so what are we gonna do about it? Well, we have to be honest, right? Um, but besides that, if I were to give you guys a lens, if I'm no psychic or nothing, but my guess with what's going to happen next, and this is just a guess before I get to my topics, you guys. My guess is, I'm going to do my intro too. My guess is citizens are going to have to end up fighting for themselves because everybody's going to turn against them. Government's going to turn against us. This is a guess, okay? It's not facts, but guess. The government's going to turn against us. The military is going to turn against us. ICE has already turned against us. Everybody's going to turn against us. And it's going to be up to the citizens to have to fight for their lives. Um, Shit, there's so much. I know I need to get to these topics. I need to get to the intro. But y'all, lastly, I swear this is the last thing. These asteroids? What are they called? Asteroids? They're called asteroids. Meteors? Astro. I know I'm in Houston, but there was one that dropped down. There was one in Cleveland, Ohio, and there was just one in California. What is going on? Because, like I said, I don't think these things are coincidences. Something is happening, all right? But we're about to get into the show. We got some very hot topics, and like I said, I don't usually film on this day, but there's just so much going on. I gotta keep up, okay? I got to keep up. So this is the topics that we have today. Um, we got Jay Z, J. Cole, Young Miami, and can't say it. I don't know if I can say the word in here. OnlyFans, OnlyPans, whatever. Y'all know what I'm saying. Let's go ahead and get into the intro. Let's get into the show. All right, y'all. So this is the Relevant Podcast with TracyVA. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at TracyVAmedia. We do this every single week, getting to the realest topics of the entertainment industry. We're keeping it real, relevant, and resonating here with TracyVA Media. So I want to talk about the very first topic. First up, we got a new interview. Let's go ahead and drop this right here. We got a new interview with Young Miami. And the person that's interviewing her is Charlamagne the God. I didn't watch the full episode, but I did see the clips. She's getting a little bit more open and deeper when it comes to these situations. She's talking about Diddy, of course. She's talking about dating and love, and she's talking about what really happened between JT um, and her. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some clips. So in this clip right here, Young Miami says JT switching up after prison felt like getting her heart broken for the first time. I felt a shift. My thoughts on that clip, I think JT is better off without the City Girls. I think JT was meant to go solo, but with her walk of life, that's how she had to enter to the music scene via the City Girls. But I think JT is fine where she's at. I think she's better off. But this clip right here, this is about the, Diddy and admits supporting him publicly ended up costing her. So it's this the clip keeps going, but I'm gonna go ahead and end it there and like end with my thoughts. She kind of keeps it the same, when she did the Creature Police episode with Saucy Santana, fresh off of the news release of what's going on with Diddy and stuff. She kind of kept the same story. It's like she was with Diddy Love. She wasn't with P. Diddy, so she didn't get those experiences that those other women get, you know. But honestly, I don't when it comes to my thoughts on Young Miami, I love Young Miami because I think she's funny. I think she's beautiful. And of course, she's an Aquarius like me. So, I support. But I feel like I've lost interest in Young Miami. It's just something about her. Like, I don't know if it's the stories about, just being peed on or like, the Dubai parties and the boat parties that we've heard Diddy, do and participate in. And like, my brain already kind of went to like the thought or affiliation of her doing like the same things. I guess I lost interest. I really do feel like I wouldn't even put the whole blame on Diddy for like tarnishing the brands. Would it, from my lens? I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but I wouldn't completely put the blame on Diddy because I feel like Young Miami had a chance to pivot, but she didn't do what I thought she was going to do. And in the episode with Saucy Santana for Carisha's podcast, she said that she went through a depression and she felt like she was going through identity issues. And as an Aquarius, I've gone through my own sense of identity issues, and I found that when you're going through identity issues, it's because you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. An old part of you has to die so a new part can bloom. And I thought, Young Miami was going to change her ways and, separate herself from this lifestyle, but unfortunately, she stayed there. And I don't know if it's because of Diddy's brainwashing, because he built her up into that. So she thinks that's all she's able to be. But no, like she's still like out in the club, she's still dressing this certain way. She's still doing these things, bent over, half naked. She's still doing these things. And it's like, unfortunately, like, girl, like, we all. We already have, this lens of you, and you're still doing this. So the lens is just, getting dirtier and dirtier. But I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but for me, that's just how I feel about it. I think Young Mammy was destined for way more, but I think I'm off of her. Like, I know she had the song Tea Time and stuff that's going viral right now on TikTok, two fingers touching. But even that, I was like, okay, I'm over it because now I just feel like she's kind of just like playing this role when I'm just like, girl, I know you smarter than that. I know you're worth more than that. Um, and yeah, but unfortunately, I'm just always going to see her as this Madame character. I don't think that's who she is. Um, but that's just how I see it. And another thing too, Young Miami was my daughter keeps walking in, but another thing too, yeah, I just been getting dark vibes. I don't think Carisha's a dark girl. I don't think, but a lot of the things in the storyline that we've seen at her these past couple of years, it just kind of seems dark. Like even with, um, and no offense to the LGBTQ community, I support all that. But with Young Miami though, did y'all see like those old videos of like her thoughts and opinions on being gay? And then we see her on like the Megan Thee Stallion interview. She's flirting with her, and she's Ari and doing these things. Like now, I just feel like I just don't feel pureness from her brand that she has built. I liked Carisha when she was just that down chick. That was just hungry to just make it an entertainment, just doing whatever she could, like being funny and just showing her personality, like all that other stuff. It's like now, to be blunt, like I just see her as yeah. So let's go ahead and go into the next story. Did y'all hear about the OnlyFans? That's such a horrible transition. But what I'm saying, okay? Y'all know what I'm saying. I'm gonna go ahead and end it there. JT's better off. Way better off. Did you guys hear about the um this man right here? Let me look it up. Let's look it up. This man right here, I believe he's the owner of OnlyFans. Let's pull it up. Okay, so The owner of OnlyFans, I don't even know how to say his name, Leonid Radvinsky, has died at the age of 43. Um, the site that's known for adult content that is credited with revolutionizing the online PRN industry has died at the age of 43. He was born in Ukraine and grew up in Chicago, had purchased the company in 2018 from its two UK-based founders, OnlyFans said. The site popularly surged during the COVID-19 pandemic, landing him on Forbes' annual list of billionaires just 3 years later. They put a porn man on Forbes. Anyways, they said he passed away peacefully after a long battle with cancer. Now, I don't like death on people. I never do. I don't think this is funny. I don't think anybody's death is funny. I could never be. Even if I don't. Okay. Yeah, even if I don't like somebody, um, I could never laugh at somebody's pain. But he's a billionaire and he had cancer. I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying like there's people out here, billionaires are exempt from getting sick. I don't think that's the case. Um, do we usually hear stories like this though? Billionaires dying from sicknesses? Because you would think, you're a billionaire, there will be some way that you could, you know, do something, you know? And he was only 43 years old. 43 is young. That is young. He probably looked just like this picture right here. Um, Shit. But you know what else needs to go 6 feet under? That whole damn platform. Okay? And um, yeah, uh just rot. Just rot. Like just brain rot. Just dark, just all that shit, you know? Shit. Like, and women that participate in it really try to convince us, oh, it's art. Oh, I'm just being free. I'm just making my money. Girl, it's prostitution. Prostitution. Like, I don't understand why people dress it up. Oh, I'm just posting pictures and da 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 da. Da. You're putting your body up for payment. That's prostitution. And that's just what it is. And OnlyFans, it created this whole generational um groundbreaking shit of women not bothering to figure it out and just saying, I'm just gonna sell my body. I'm just gonna sell my body. And then don't even get me started on people that be making whole rings out that shit. Like I'm just saying, like I'm just saying, okay? I'm not gonna provide any proof here, you guys, but just know that um yeah, like that Diddy, y'all mad at Diddy? Y'all want to be mad at OnlyFans, okay? But rest in peace to this man. I don't wish death on nobody, but I think the platform should go with him. And yeah, let's move on to better things in life. Like J. Cole. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to J. Cole. Jermaine. My guy Jermaine, he is in the headlines and he's staying there. Uh, what's the line? I'm a sidewalk nigga and I'ma stay there. He gonna stay there in them headlines, all right? So J. Cole, his interview with Nadeska was released. Successful interview. I believe it's almost at 1 million views, if not already. It was a great interview. It took place in his childhood home. I love Nadeska deeply. I love Nadeska. She's my favorite. Um, I feel like she represents us women interviewers, journalists so well. She's just classy and intelligent, and she doesn't do too much. So I love the interview. Like, That's the one person I wanted him to sit down with. Um, and it was great. So yeah, drop your comments on what you guys think of that interview. I'm hearing, mixed reviews, but regardless, I think it was a great interview. I think it was a great introduction into the press run for the fall off. But then we get hit with some big news. It looked like it was a skit, but I don't think it was a skit. Cole walks in on Camron recording his episode of his podcast Talks with Flea on Revolt, and Cameron clearly is shocked, like, oh my gosh. And if you guys don't know the backstory behind Cameron and Cole, they have collaborated on music before, but apparently they had some more music, and I'm guessing Cole was giving Cameron the runaround, and he was supposed to get a verse, I think. But regardless, he was also supposed to be on the podcast. So Cameron kind of just got in his feelings. He was like, you know what, F you. Went ahead and filed a lawsuit, and it was just crazy. And this came out like as the fall off was, freshly um, out on streaming. So I really never understood the beef. I always just think, okay, maybe Cole's busy. He's gonna come around because he's always respected Cameron. Um, and also, sorry, they both acquaintances too. So it's like, y'all could be cool. Like, what we doing here? Why are we beefing? Why are we fighting? So these two had to sit down. Tons of clips have came out. They talked about his emotions with, Kendrick Lamar and Drake beefing. He also gave us some tea that Kendrick Lamar was supposed to be on the fall off on two tracks, but because they fell out, those tracks also had to fall off and not make it. But I'm kind of still firm on this. And I know a lot of people were telling me like, Tracy, you're crazy. That's not true. Although Ibrahim cleared the air and said, um, that bitch and who the fuck is you? That last bitch. I said it sounded like Kendrick Lamar, and everybody else said it sounded like Kendrick Lamar. Eve was like, nah, that was not Kendrick Lamar. But this story coming, it makes me think maybe he was supposed to be on Who the F is You, but you know, they had to take it off. But Cole probably left that bitch. Maybe to us. I don't know. I'm just because it don't sound like Cole. Like, let me know in the comment section if you guys know what I'm talking about. But what else with this? So of course, they talk about the lawsuit and what happened. Just hashing things out. The full interview actually drops at 10 o'clock p.m. tonight. So I will be watching. I might live stream as well. And yeah, that's really it. Yeah, that's really it for now. Until that podcast episode comes out. But like I said, I didn't understand why these two are beefing. I was hoping that they would, figure it out. I'm really excited for this interview. This might be one of the best interviews of hip hop of all time. Um, being that they are, two in the same and uh one and the same, I guess. Um, and yeah, I think it's gonna be funny. I think Cameron's gonna bring out another side of Cole that we've never seen before, and to Cameron as well. And that entry part was a skit. I think that really happened. Knowing Cole, I think he really pulled up on Cameron and shit. This makes me believe that we just might get Cole on Joe Budden's podcast. I told you guys, this man Cole. Y'all love to call him scared, but I don't think that's what his character is at all. I just think he's very mature and he doesn't want to do that rah 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 stuff. Like Cole wants to sit down and have an intellectual conversation. Like, what's the issue? What's the problem? Let's hash it out. Because I don't feel like his intentions are ever bad. Okay, so lastly, we got Jay Z. Last but not least, we got Jay Z. And yes, I know I'm running through things pretty fast because I do want to take a shower and just go ahead and wrap this day up because this podcast episode is about to come out. Jay Z. Now, Jay Z, you're really trying to take Cole's thunder like this and think that we don't recognize it? because you drop your GQ um cover or interview the same day you know this Camron interview is about to come out. I don't know, it might help the views or whatever. But then you also release this 2 day stadium performance and there's news stories or press releases coming out of the numbers in the line. And that's kind of crazy because Cole's just had a story that came out with how many people were in his lineup to get tickets for his show. I don't know. I got this thing. Sometimes I feel like Jay-Z be copying Cole. I mean, down to the locks, with 444, like he wasn't, the spirit, like, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let me know in the comment section about if I'm reaching. Okay, whatever, cool. But let's talk about it. So Jay-Z is currently everywhere because he has a concert coming up at the Yankee Stadium, which is a big deal because y'all know that New York Yankees cap. Jay Z was the one that made that like a trend where everybody wants to wear one. Um, so that's that. But before that story even came out, he was randomly on Roots Picnic, to headline. Random, right? But then this story came out that he's performing at the stadium. So tickets are selling out like crazy. People are super excited. Let me talk about more of the. So what's happening is, oh, he added a third Yankee Stadium concert after instant sellouts. Artists be doing this on purpose, y'all. By the way, I don't know if you guys know that. I'm a journalist, so I know, but as like fans of this stuff, I know y'all be thinking that this is just a coincidence and it's really not. Okay, but the full story, Jay-Z is adding a third Yankee Stadium concert on July 12th, 2026 after the July 10, 11 shows celebrating the 30th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt and the 25th anniversary of The Blueprint sold out instantly. Tickets go on sale March 24th via Live Nation, and he will also appear at the Roots Picnic in Philadelphia later that May. So, that came out, and then of course, in Jay Z fashion, you couldn't just end it there, right? You gotta get a cover. So Jay Z is covered on GQ magazine, and the headline is um okay. Where was that? Where's that? Where's the post? Okay, so yes, he's on GQ magazine, and it's called a special issue. Sean Carter on 30 years of Jay Z. 30 years. Crazy, 30 years. Okay, so of course we got these, amazing pictures. GQ always does a good job with, the content. But then we get into this interview, and he touches on a lot of special topics. I'm gonna go ahead and open up this girl's post to sum it up. Tic's album, but wasn't ready to rap yet. Jay said that he was in such an angry space last year that anything he would have put out would have been harsh and fiery. As for what to expect from a possible new Jay-Z album, he said he doesn't know, but that he wants to make something timeless that I really love, and that's really honest and true to who I am. For Complex News, I'm Liberty Love. Make sure to shop on Complex. See, I love Jay-Z, but the thing that sometimes grinds my gears is like he kind of just picks and chooses when he wants to, be a rapper and be a full-time artist. Like I feel like once you're a CEO, you're a CEO, and like, that's just what it is. I don't really if he's trying to like hint that he's about to have an album coming out or something, I love Jay-Z's music, but I don't know, like once you're a CEO, I just don't, really care for the music or just look at you as a musician. And that's just what it is. He kind of just plays. He be playing, I think that was his goal, honestly. He wanted to become so powerful in the hip hop or music industry that whenever he wanted to play and do music, he could play and go do music, and we could just, eat it all up. And he'll have the best media and press run and everything. Like that's just kind of what it's giving. But regardless, I know that show is gonna be crazy. I wish I could go, but I'm ready, taking my break with the kids. And until then, I'm gonna go see Cole in September. But yeah, I'm not gonna make it to those, but I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to the footage. I know it's gonna be crazy. But anyways, I think the interview was cool. Wasn't his best, but I think it was cool. I think he held back a lot. And the interviewer, I don't know, maybe he was prepped in advance, like don't get too deep on like these specific questions. But what about Nicki Minaj? She was one of your own. Um, what happened with Nicki Minaj? Like, how do you feel about her going on these rants and talking about these things and um hinting that you've done some dirt that kind of destroyed her pockets or whatever. Yeah, like how do you feel about that? How did you feel about Diddy being incarcerated? Like, there was other things that they could have touched on, but they didn't, and they just played it safe. But they're very good though. They're very good because they made sure they asked, popular questions to kind of distract us from the fact that hey, there was a whole bunch of other shit going on. But at least we know that him and Cole are cool. At least we know his thoughts on rap beef. That was probably my favorite part of the interview because I'm somebody that says, hip hop is the only genre where we be getting down and dirty like that. And why can't we just focus on the music? Why can't we just focus on the love for music and just leave it at there? Like, why we gotta do all of this? Um, and I agree. I would be completely fine if we can go the rest of hip hop history or hip hop's lifeline without a rap beef. I'm completely fine with that. I'm cool. And as for stands causing this, um, I don't really agree with that because I don't really ever see Cole fans talking bad about Kendrick. I don't ever hear Cole fans talking bad about Drake. But do they be doing it to Cole fans? Yeah, but I don't know. Like I don't know. But I'm glad he spoke out and said he's proud of Cole, and because that was a lot of questions that we had because guys know, in Cole's album, he said slavery label, kind of hinting that Rock Nation was making him feel like he was a slave, which I don't think that was, you know, I don't think he really meant it. I think honestly, the record deal kind of feels like slavery a little bit. You kind of just got to pick and choose which one's best for you. Any job feels like slavery. I think a lot of people forget that musicians, when they are signed to a record label, it's kind of like you signed up to a 9 to 5, but you're just not 9 to 5. You're probably like whatever they want you to do, whatever they want you to do, wear whatever you gotta wear. Um, but yeah, so I'm glad we can move on from that. Hopefully, that's the end of that. I want Cole to just prosper. I want Jay Z to just prosper, continue to be great. But I do feel like Jay Z held back on a lot. I think Jay Z's a little manipulative, And I stand by that because he's just so damn like a politician, like answering, making you think that they're really giving you like the shit, but really they're just, they're just really good at this. Like that's what it was giving me, and that's that. But I think it's a great interview. I don't know who the interviewer is. I've never seen that guy before, but kudos to him. And that's that. That's all the topics. I know that was a lot and we got through it fast, but let's please pray for this world because there was an explosion or a fire at the Valero gas, uh, what is it called, in Texas. And then you got that airplane that just crashed to the fire truck. And then you got these meteors coming down and knocking people's houses out. You got mass shootings. We got a whole lot of things going on. So let's continue to pray for this world and believe that better days are coming. And Iran too, hopefully by the time we do another podcast episode, that's over and done with. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to the fall of things, but just not the fall of us. I'm looking forward to the fall of government. I'm looking forward to the fall of the economy. I'm looking forward to the fall of a lot of shit because something's got to die for some beautiful things to bloom. And life is very hard. Like prices are sky high, living stuff is difficult, and government just makes it very difficult on us. So hopefully something beautiful comes out of this. But if it's the end of the world, I'll see y'all in the next life. That's just sarcasm, you guys. But y'all, it's Tracy VA, Tracy VA Media, where we keep it real, relevant, and resonating. This was a relevant podcast. Make sure you hit the follow button on my Instagram at TracyVA Media. Go watch my valet interview. Yes, valet of good music. I actually caught up with him at South by Southwest. I've been trying to get that interview for a long time. Finally found him. Go watch it on my page. Hit the subscribe button on my YouTube channel. Leave a comment down below on any of these topics. And I'm going to see you guys next time. Go ahead and keep it real, relevant, and resonating.